Live, local, late breaking. This is Newswatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:30 on September 26th. Welcome to Newswatch 12 this morning. I'm Carlos Marietta. We first want to turn over to Storm Tracker 12 meteorologist Sarah Kress for a look at your Friday. And Sarah, what can we expect today as we're closing out the work week?
As we're closing out your work week, you can definitely expect a chillier start, and it is going to be feeling a little bit hotter today. But in terms of those highs and where they climb to, just a little bit above average from where we were sitting, especially earlier this week. It's not going to be too bad, especially if you have any outdoor plans later tonight. But current temperatures this morning are rather chilly. We're at 53 for Medford, 36 into Klamath Falls, 50 for Montague along the coast, 69 for Brookings. Thanks to the Chetco effect, Gold Beach sitting at 55, and along the coast it is a little bit breezier this morning. We'll see those breezes continue on throughout your day today and not really settling until we work our way overnight tonight when they do decrease. Much more pleasant by tomorrow morning. But into the Rogue Valley today, we'll see high temperatures climb up only into the 80s. So when you're into your lunchtime, we're just going to be breaking up into the 70s today. So much more comfortable, especially from where we were sitting earlier this week. Not looking to break any records today, but it is still going to be feeling rather warm compared to where we should be sitting for this time of year. So 85 for Medford, 84 for Grants Pass. East side will be into the 70s. We'll see 70s and 80s into Northern California. Brookings is the exception today with that heat along the coast up into the 80s thanks to the Chetco effect. And if you're looking for an excuse to head outdoors later this evening to enjoy the daytime, sun sets at 7 p.m. tonight, and that's the last time we're going to be seeing it for this year because the days are going to continue to get shorter and shorter and shorter. It feels like we're already in 2026. But tonight, if you are heading out for Friday night football, it is going to be a little bit chillier, especially if you're into the Klamath Basin. So take a jacket out with you if you do head outside. We'll be into the 70s over into the Rogue Valley. So coming up in your next forecast, where some big changes are on the way, especially for next week. You'll want to stick around, so I'll go ahead and break down what you can expect through your weekend and starting off next week.
It's been 91 days since the 2025 legislative session came to an end, and today, 51 new Oregon laws are set to take effect. One of the most prominent of those bills is House Bill 3940, which will impose a tax on the distribution of oral nicotine products to raise funds for wildland firefighting costs. Lawmakers hope that this bill will protect homes, forests, and whole communities through sustainable investments. For a full list of bills that will be taking effect today, can be found on our website at kdrv.com. And the city of Ashland just received a Distinguished Budget Award for financial transparency and fiscal responsibility. But some community members are disagreeing. Newswatch 12's Grace Ritz spoke to both management and residents about the new construction of an extreme weather shelter.
Been over 2 years and nothing has happened. And you start wondering whether they really want a shelter.
The city recently signed a nearly $1 million contract to bring it up to fire code, add new heating and air systems, and upgrade the bathrooms.
The contract that we signed has the total cost in it for the entire project.
But Lita Shapiro, the leader of Ashland Forward, a group of Ashland residents that have been outspoken during Ashland City Council meetings, say that the city has not been financially transparent about where the funding for the contract is coming from.
The last thing I heard was that they were going to cover it with the balance of the opioid money, which isn't as high as what they said it was. They should be consistent and transparent about it.
They also raise concerns about financial issues they see other places, like increased taxes and fees in their utilities and cuts in the parks and rec services.
They're feeling lied to. I mean, there's not a whole lot of trust left. It's like it doesn't match anything. So, and they haven't said it's not true, so we're all kind of assuming it is, and we're feeling ripped off.
But Tanya Graham says the money is allocated for and was given to them by the state.
The vast majority of the funding that has been used to purchase and renovate this building has come to us from grant funds from the state.
She also added that although some residents may be concerned about the shelter and the financial state, it's needed to address a crisis that many are seeing all over the country.
Ashland is making great strides in terms of being able to offer services for our homeless residents. We should just remember that this is a a crisis that communities across our state and our nation are experiencing.
The city is hoping the shelter will be complete before the upcoming winter. This is still a developing story, and we will continue to update you more on this shelter as we know more. Reporting in Ashland, I'm Grace Ritz.
New this morning, Curry County is affirming their commitment to a respectful workplace after an independent investigation wrapped up against County Counsel and Director of Operations Ted Fitzgerald. According to a news release, the County Board of Commissioners says there was not enough evidence to prove the allegations of gender discrimination, harassment, or retaliation against Fitzgerald were true. An investigation was done by an independent investigator, which included numerous interviews, a detailed review of more than 400 pages of documentary evidence, and a thorough assessment of witness testimony. The county says they remain committed to transparency in addressing concerns and to protecting the integrity of those who serve in the county. And also new this morning, the Medford School District has announced the next Director of Security and Emergency Management. Kevin Plaisance has been announced as the new director, with MSD saying he brings a wealth of experience in public safety, security, and leadership. Plaisance has served on local, state, and federal levels, even serving as a special agent with the FBI in New Orleans. Plaisance will succeed Ron Havenar after he unexpectedly stepped down last month. He worked with the district for 11 years. And Starbucks is announcing another round of changes as some stores are set to close with reduced staffing as part of a company-wide restructuring plan, and a few Southern Oregon locations are on that list. CEO Brian Nicole says hundreds of stores will close this month, about 1% of Starbucks' total locations. The company is also cutting 900 corporate positions in addition to 1,000 layoffs, which was announced earlier this year. The restructuring plan is expected to cost about $1 billion. And local closures include stores on Hillcrest Drive in Grants Pass, West Main Street and Delta Waters Road in Medford, and the Ashland Starbucks on Walker Avenue. Moving on to a fire watch. New safety steps are now in place along the Rogue River as the Moon Complex continues to grow. BLM and the Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest have closed the wild and scenic Rogue River from Grave Creek to Foster Bar due to the fires happening on both sides of the river. Permits are on hold as winds threaten to spread the flames. The Moon Complex has burned over 4,700 acres and is at 10% containment. And moving on to the Money Watch, ODF is announcing more than $28 million across the state to make our communities more fire resilient, with one major project being in the Southwest District. More than $2 million is going towards the Mira project in the Illinois Valley area. This mitigation project will support the removal of hazardous fuels, assessments of defensible spaces, educational opportunities, and the establishment of 2 new Firewise communities. And the city of Brookings is planning major improvements at Bud Cross Park after receiving a $100,000 grant. Now, upgrades include a new playground, paved pathways, and a picnic area. This grant covers approximately half the project costs, and the design is expected to wrap up this winter with construction beginning next year. City Manager Tim Rundle says he hopes these changes will make the park safer and more enjoyable. And last December, a routine delivery turned into a life or death situation for a FedEx driver in Jackson County. And now, that driver is being honored for his heroic actions. Chris Matthews was making his normal route when he heard a struggle behind a home. He soon realized a young girl was being attacked by several dogs. Matthews shouted to distract the animals and called for help, allowing for a few nearby workers to join in and pull the child to safety.
Like a scuffling going on behind the house, like a side yard. Kind of checked it out and saw, the dogs attacking, biting, sort of dragging this girl around in the dirt. Shouted as loud as I could to get the dogs to come over to the fence to get them off of the girl. I just knew I had to do something to try, especially to keep the dogs' attention.
The girl was airlifted to Portland and has since recovered 9 months later. Jackson County leaders presented Matthews with a Citizen Hero Award for his quick thinking and courage. Maidens Southern Oregon is happening tomorrow in downtown Central Point on Pine Street from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and the vendor list is now out. The annual event celebrates local talent with dozens of artisans, makers, and small businesses offering everything from handcraft art and jewelry and as well as specialty foods. Organizers say this year's lineup features both new vendors and returning favorites. And our annual Coats for Kids campaign has officially started, and we need your help to make it a success. Last year was a record-breaking year for our Coats for Kids campaign, and we're aiming to make this year even bigger. But you can help and drop off your new or gently used coats at over 50 locations across Jackson, Josephine, and Klamath counties. Not only does every coat stay local, going directly to children in our communities, but we work with so many community partners to make it all happen. And if you want to learn more about our campaign or how to donate, you can visit our website at kdrv.com.